Welcome Warriors, I'm Blake the Airsoft Warrior and you're watching Airsoft Warrior TV. Today we're going to be talking about how you can disassemble and clean your Airsoft M4 AEG so you get maximum accuracy and reliability on the battlefield. Let's get to it. To start out, let's go ahead and run over a quick list of things you are going to need. You're going to need your operator's manual. This should provide you some information on the inside, maybe about disassembling and cleaning your AEG. Make sure you read those and look those over so you can have a good basis of the knowledge you're going to need to disassemble and clean your AEG. You're going to need a battery. You will need your cleaning and unjamming rod. Should be one of these in with your AEG. If there's not, you're going to need to find one that is plastic so you don't scrape up your inner barrel. You're also going to need some, I use gun cleaning patches. You can also use maybe some other kind of cloth. Just something that's not going to leave a whole bunch of lint in your inner barrel. You're going to take this and you're just going to take a pair of scissors and you're going to cut it down into about 1 inch by ½ inch strips. Maybe a little smaller depending on how thick the cloth is. You're also going to need a pin light of some type so you can look down the inner barrel, and a Sharpie marker which you will use to actually mark your cleaning rod so you know how far you need to go down in order to clean it and not mess up your hop-up bucking. You also need, for like the KWA SR7 I'm using here, you need some Allen wrenches in order to open up the pins. Some body pins you'll just press out, and you may want to get like a bigger Allen wrench and a rubber mallet and just punch them out. So let's go ahead and get started with the disassembly. There's some debate over silicone oil, whether or not you want to use it when you're cleaning your inner barrel, and I'm going to try to talk about that just real quick. Some people like to use some form of liquid like silicone oil in order to pick up more dirt and grime in their inner barrel. I personally just use water if I use any liquid at all. Some forms of oil, silicone oil even, if they have petroleum, some kind of petroleum base, that can corrode and wear out the plastic parts like your hop-up bucking, your hop-up nub over time. So if you're going to use any liquid at all, make sure you have 100% silicone oil. Right here I have evic.com silicone oil spray that I got off of their website. Or just use water or something like that to make sure that you keep all the internal components as nice and as non-corroded as possible. So the first step is to insert your battery into the battery compartment and plug it in. The next step is to switch your gun to semi and fire 3 shots in a safe direction. Then switch it back to safe. This ensures that the barrel is clear of BBs and that the body tabs are not interfered with from the piston being partially cocked. Now disconnect your battery. Now you're going to want to punch out the pin on the rear of the receiver. Now on a KWA, they use actually Allen keys. So you're going to want to insert one Allen key into this slot and the other Allen key on the other side. Then you're just going to want to turn counterclockwise, gently, and then you can eventually get to the point where you just unscrew this side like so. Maybe use your fingers if you want to, and out it comes. Then what you're going to want to do is you will take your Allen key and you'll just gently push, and you should be able to just punch the body pin out like so. And what I usually do is I just take the two sides of the body pin, the screw, and just screw them back in together so they don't get lost. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead, and I'll try to do this where you can see it on camera. You're just going to take the body, I can probably do it better from this side. Take the upper receiver and lower receiver. Let's see if we can do this. Just gently pull up, and if you get a whole bunch, I mean, you're going to get a little resistance. Let's see if I can get this to come up. There we go. Okay, gun rotates up like so. Now you have the body pins up. You'll notice the piston isn't showing in here. If it is, you got problems because these two tabs slide right over that hole. So you're going to want to make sure, like I said, just go ahead and fire a few shots on semi, make sure that it's all the way forward. So at the front of the upper receiver, you're going to have this little hop-up chamber. Now you may not be able to see it real well in the video. I'll try to pull it out so you can actually get a good look at it. What you're going to do is you're just going to kind of get your finger in there. You have to rotate the gun. You're just going to slide it out the back, like so, gently and carefully. Set your gun to the side. So now you have your hop-up and inner barrel assembly out of your upper receiver. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, this little adjustment wheel right here, you're going to want to rotate it around. You're going to want to look down inside, and you're going to see probably a hop-up nub sticking out just a little bit. You're going to want to rotate that wheel until you can no longer see the nub inside of the inner barrel. Now what this does is prevents, when you're sending your cleaning rod down, this prevents it from catching that nub inside of there. Now I don't like to send my cleaning rod all the way down to where the hop-up nub is at, because if you accidentally catch that, you can potentially pop that out, and then you're going to have a very difficult time getting it back into the hop-up chamber. Next step you may want to do is go ahead and just turn your pin light on. Stick the light down so you can see inside the barrel and inspect it for dirt, scratches, wear, anything that doesn't look like it should be there. That'll also help you gauge how well you've cleaned your barrel at the end. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cleaning patches right here that you pre-cut. You're going to go ahead and just insert, I usually like to just insert a corner, pull it through until it's about even on both sides. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, what I like to do actually first, is I will take and I will just kind of gauge, stick it on the barrel and just kind of gauge about, you know, make sure I don't stick it too far down the barrel, maybe just gauge it like that and then stick my thumb there. Then what I'll do is I'll insert it in, and then I'll just go ahead and just twist just a little bit. Twist and push. You may have to slide up, you know, get some good torque. If it's not going down, which it's not, it may be too big. So, then what you go ahead and do is you can just take your handy dandy scissors here, slice off just a chunk, it's whatever you think you may need, and go ahead and just insert it back, which I will do as quickly as I can. Not the best dexterity. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Insert that back in, twist, turn, all the way down. Not all the way down, you know. You don't want it coming out the other end. Go ahead, get down, go ahead and flip it back around and then twist it back out, like so. Then you'll want to inspect it, you know, if it's got dirt on it, obviously, you've got dirt inside, and you need to take care of that. Now another thing you can do, and I'll just demonstrate real quick, you'll run it down, and the way that I've done this, I just went ahead and took like a pin light, turned it on, and then looked down the barrel, and I just kept doing this, and slowly twisting, and looking, you know, turning my light back on, looking, over and over again, until I could see that the cloth was kind of, you know, poking out right before it got to the hop-up nub, and I just went ahead and marked that at that point using my Sharpie marker, and I just went ahead and marked it right at that point. And what that allowed me to do is then I could just twist it back out. Then every time when I went to clean the barrel, I had a handy dandy little mark that told me exactly how far I needed to go without getting into my hop-up nub. Just slide it in, slide it back out. You're going to want to refresh this patch every time you send it back down, every time, you know, it's dirty. And you're going to probably get some nice little like black streaks and black junk on it. Some of that's from the polishing compound that they use on the barrel. A lot of that's dirt. Just keep running it down until you get to where, you know, it's as clean as you want it to be. So you're just going to go ahead and take your hop-up assembly, carefully guide it back in to the outer barrel hole, which should be down at the end of the front of the upper receiver, and just tap it down slowly. Okay, there you go. Now it's in. Now what you should be able to do is, usually these hop-up assemblies have a little spring on the front. You should be able to press that in. It should have just a little bit of spring to it. That way you know it's actually in there, and it'll also help it to seal a lot better. If you don't do that, you could potentially be losing some FPS. And what you're going to do, just going to take the upper assembly, and you're going to carefully guide it back in to the body pins. So back in, click, there you go. Now go ahead and take your pin right here, take it and just punch that back in. Now if you have one of the pins that actually requires like you to hammer it out, you may have to hammer it in from this side. Again, on these KWAs, they just use a screw, so I'm just going to take the screw, insert it in, and then kind of finger screw it in just a little bit. Take the gun, 2 Allen wrenches, insert one on one side, one in on the other side. I'll rest my gun down there, and then just twist. In this case, I'm going to twist, and there you go. Twist till it gets nice and tight, and you're done. I hope this video has given you a good basic overview of how to disassemble and clean your Airsoft M4 AEG. Again, I'm Blake, the Airsoft Warrior, and thanks for watching Airsoft Warrior TV.